Okay. I've made it live. Chat only. Feel free to say something in the chat. I've got Twitch chat up so that I can converse with you guys. Okay, so game plans. I had a whole bunch of stuff to think about and say yesterday, but really, I mean, these things are best done off the cuff. Maybe not play as Zeku for this because he talks an awful fucking lot and it's really annoying. So we'll just go same old, same old, same old. Ryu and Ken. Doesn't get more basic than that. Doesn't get more game plan-y than Ryu and Ken, right? Right? Yeah. So. Ho ho ho. No, 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 no. Okay. Anyways. So, talking about game plans after Capcom Cup. After Capcom Cup was won from a dude with like the best game plan. Well, no, not the best game plan, but the best adheration to a game plan I've ever seen in my life. Like anybody that thinks that Capcom Cup was won by Birdie and not MenaRD has no idea what they're talking about. Because that dude is the most stubborn guy I have ever seen in my life. It's crazy. I've never seen anybody more stubborn, more insistent, and more like literally just straight unwilling to be discouraged from what it is that he wants to do than MenaRD at Capcom Cup. That's not to say that MenaRD is always like that, but at Capcom Cup, he had a fucking ridiculous run. He had the best weekend on like the most important weekend that you could have possibly had. And so that means that his game plan is obviously concrete. It was obviously good. And you guys might not know what I'm talking about because what this whole stream is all about is teaching you what a game plan is and what makes it good and, you know, what you have to think about to actually concretely have one. As opposed to just being like, I want to hit the opponent and take their health to 0 before mine is taken to 0. So, you know, most of the people who this stream is for is like, we're here because you guys don't have a concrete game plan. You have an idea of, I want to hit this guy before he hits me and kill him before he kills me. And that's the end goal of everybody in Street Fighter, and any fighting game really, is, you know, hit the other dude before they hit you. But, oh, thank you for the confirmation the stream is going well. But, to have a game plan, it means that you've put some thought into how you're going to take the opponent's HP to 0 and, you know, what steps you're going to take to get there. Like, just what are you looking to do in order to win this match in which the life bar drains? What a move. Let's just look at this move. Look how beautiful that move is. Wow. Wow. What a great animation. I can't wait to see Donkey kick in its terrible animation and feel sad every time I see it. But, you know, that being aside, so you have these like various game plans that you could possibly have. We talk about MenaRD having like an excellent adheration to his game plan that won him Capcom Cup. You know, the most stacked tournament that we've had like all year, pretty much, by design. And you think, well, hey, you know, maybe I should just do exactly what it is that MenaRD did. But to do exactly what it is that MenaRD did, you have to ask yourself the question, what is it that MenaRD did? What did MenaRD do? And to answer that question, you have to take a look at what kinds of game plans there are. Because, you know, there are offensive game plans where you decide that you're going to hit the opponent and overwhelm their defenses, mix them up and make it hard for them to guess correctly, you know, rush them down, put them under pressure so that they can't react to stuff. Offensive game plans. Have oppressive Oki that they guess wrong on all the time. Offensive game plans. Always want to be in my opponent's face type game plans. Or you could have like defensive game plans where maybe you're going to wall them out with buttons that are hard to punish. And you're going to like keep them over here and annoy them until they jump at you. And then you're just going to anti-air them with like shoryuken and stuff like that. You know, defensive game plans where you're going to stay at this part of the screen and zone them out with fireballs. And make life really difficult with these fireballs and force them to like jump in to your uppercuts. And that's your whole game plan. You know, defensive game plans where maybe you have an active defense where you've determined that you're going to keep your opponent at this distance and actively stop them from doing things against you. Purposely leave holes and gaps for them to jump into. You know, actively suffocate and control the opponent so that they can't fight back. Or maybe like reactively wait and see what an opponent wants to do or what an opponent likes to do. Reactively go, when the opponent fucks up, I'm going to do this. And, you know, disrupt their game plan. So there's a lot of different ways to get done what it is that you want to do. And a lot of ways to, you know, hit the opponent so that they can't fight back anymore. So, you know, what kind of game plan you want to have is heavily dependent on what character you're playing, for one, and, you know, what kind of person you are, for two. Like, maybe you're the kind of patient person that likes to wait around and see what an opponent's going to do, so that when you understand an opponent, you just sort of break them open. Maybe you're the kind of person that decides that you don't want to give your opponent any time to do anything. You just want to beat the crap out of them before anyone has any time to do anything about it. You know, maybe you're the kind of person that says, I like putting the opponent into nasty guess situations to make them feel bad. Or you're the kind of person that says, I'm only having fun when my opponent's not having fun. You know, like, there's all sorts of kinds of people that there are out there. And all sorts of different ways. And each character has tools that fit, you know, different situations to append your game plan. Like, Ryu is actually a pretty defensive character in a game with, like, really bad defense. So, he's not super great right now. But, you know, that's his thing. He's a defensive character. He likes to zone. He likes to play this neutral game. He likes to anti-air with shoryuken like that. And that's what he's good at. He's got really, really good anti-air. His fireball's pretty okay. His buttons are designed for controlling angles. Like, he's pretty mobile. He hits kind of hard. If I did, like, let's see if I can actually hit level 8. Yeah, so he does like 400 damage off of like a crouch medium punch. So he hits pretty hard, and he's like, you know, all of his tools revolve around him being defensive and taking advantage of the opportunities that he makes for himself by being this like wall that throws fireballs at you. Yeah, you could be a big bully. You could be like, yo, I just want to like hit buttons in your face like all day and make you like really anxious about doing anything about them. And so that when you try to hit buttons, I blow your ass up with like crush counters. That could be a game plan, sure. Bam, 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 bam. Look at all that damage. How dare you hit a button against me? Fuck you, Ken. But, you know, that could be your game plan, sure. You'd be a big bully that just hits big gorilla buttons in your opponent's face all day. So, now that you know what you want to do, depending on what your game plan is, let's, sure, we'll take Verilon's game plan of, I want to be a big bully that hits buttons in my opponent's face all day. Well, how are you going to accomplish that? First of all, if you want to be a big gorilla, you have to be about right here. You have to be at this range, hitting the kinds of buttons necessary to make your opponent feel, you know, unsure about hitting buttons back. Maybe you're gonna, you know, shimmy like that instead of like doing anything else. So I think I have a wake up throw tech on here somewhere. Try this one. No, let's wake up jab. This one. No, that's definitely not wake up. It's got to be this one. This is it, right? Yeah, there we go. So I throw. dash into the grab. So you sweep, come over, throw. And if you know your opponent likes to tech throws, you go sweep. I did it wrong because I don't play Ryu. Sweep, shimmy, sweep. So sweep. You shimmy them like that. That can be a part of your game plan, you know, making your opponent mess up by forcing them to react on defensive situations that, you know, you want them to react to. And then going, haha, you're not going to expect that. That's a game plan. Well, it's a part of a game plan. It's not a whole game plan in itself. It's a part of that offensive bully game plan. So you know, in order to win the game, you have to hit the opponent. Now, so we've decided we're going to be a bully, and we're going to hit a lot of buttons that'll get us a lot of crush counters, a lot of damage. And we know that doing things like shimmies and doing things like crush counters and whatnot, sweeps, whatever have you. Sweep. Doing stuff like that, you know, adding to your bully game plan. And so you look at the you look at the 3 or 4 pieces of that. 1, I want to be right here. This is my goal, to be in button range at all times. 2, you want to mix them up on the wake up. With meaties, with shimmies, with throws. Ryu's not a very good gorilla, so he's not super good for this game plan, but yeah, he can do it somewhat. You can be gorilla with a Ryu if you really felt like it. With frame advantage and frame traps, and if you don't know what a frame trap is, or what frame advantage is at this point in the game, you should really look into that. Mix-ups, stuff like that. Mix-ups in, you know, forcing your opponent to guess wrong. Bait out some combos by fishing for them. Get your super combos down. Stuff like that. So that's your game plan. Your game plan is be a gorilla, be in this dude's face, and bully him. Push him to the corner with pressure. Be a jerk. Before you had a game plan, you were just a jerk. But now that you have a game plan, you're a jerk with anchor arms. Alright? So that's how you've decided you're going to play. The next thing you need to do is you need to break down what parts of your gameplay you need to have. You need to have neutral, where you're going to play. You're going to play at this button range. You're going to be a bully at this button range. You have to be here. This is your game plan. If you want to be a bully, you have to be able to hit them and make them guess. 2, you have to know your ins and your combos. You can't, it's not enough to just bully someone. Not every button is a crush counter, and not every opponent is just going to let you walk up into this range all the time. They're going to fight back. So you have to know, how am I going to get into that range? How do I make it in there against the various casts? And you know, against some characters, it's a lot easier. Ken's just going to let you up in there because his buttons are really stubby. Ryu might just let you in there because his buttons aren't super great. Fang, probably not, you know? Chun, probably not going to easily let you in there. But you have to figure out, how am I going to get into this range? When I hit the opponent, do I have Oki? Do I understand what to do after I've knocked them down? Oki is an integral part of every single character, and if you don't have it, you're going to be inherently worse than whoever does have it. Just like having a game plan is inherently better than not having a game plan. Anyone that has a game plan and is going to fuck you up if you don't have a game plan. Anybody. They get to exact their will on you if you don't have a game plan and they do. So, and you have to know how every piece of this game plan works. At every point in the game, you have to have some sort of answer that you thought of before you've come into this match, or else your game plan is incomplete. I'm going to repeat that again, just in case the characters on screen were too loud for you to hear. But if you haven't thought about every part of the game before you go into this match, what am I going to do in the neutral? Where do I want to fight the neutral at? What buttons, what tools do I want to use in the neutral? What are my block strings? What are my mix-ups? What is my pressure? What is my oki? If you haven't thought about every part of the game before you head into this match, your game plan is incomplete. And you will most likely lose to somebody that has thought about those things. Somebody that does know their mix-ups, does know their crush counter punishes, does know their punish combos, their hit confirms, somebody that does know their oki. That's not to say that you absolutely require every single piece of this information to be a decent player. You don't need all of it. But I am saying that the more things that you have thought about and prepared heading into a match, the better your chances are of winning. Every oki situation that you put your opponent into is work you don't have to do. Every mix-up that you put your opponent into is work you already did. That's a mix-up. That's work I already did. Jab, back up, crush counter, that's work I already did. You know, the shimmy that I showed you earlier, ba, 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 that's work I already did. That's a mix-up I already know. That I can go, okay, I'm in range. What mix-up am I gonna use? All right. You know where you want to fight. You're not gonna hang around back here looking for an opening because you know that you want to be up here. And then you're going to spend your resources trying to get over there. If Ken's over here throwing fireballs like this... Stop that. Wow, he did that? I know that that's where I want to be. If he would stop jumping in, this would be really nice. Throw some fireballs, please. There we go. There we go. He let me jump in. Oh, that whiffed. He let that happen. So you know what you're trying to do. And that's a really, really, really important part of your game plan. You know how you want to play. You know what you're trying to do to get into the range that you want to get into to fit your play style. You know what you're going to do after you've hit them. You know what you're going to do after they've been knocked down. And that's the 3 stages of a game plan in a nutshell, pretty much. You have to know what you're doing when you hit an opponent. You have to know what you're doing when you're trying to get in range to hit the opponent. Even if it's something simple like that. You go, okay, I threw a fireball. They're going to want to jump over this eventually. So you go 1, 2, and then you wait. And if they jump, or they do that, 1, 2. See? I did an EX fireball because I knew that he might try and bust through. Oh. I didn't have the reactions there to Shoryuken him, but if you do, or even if you know that, hey, he's probably gonna do something after he does that Tatsu because he's pretty safe, so I'm just gonna Shoryuken immediately afterwards because I'm an asshole and I've got anchor arms. That's all a part of your game plan. You have to know what kinds of things that you like to do, what kind of things that you want to do, and what kind of things that you don't like to do, that you aren't going to do. And the final part of your game plan should be knowing what you're going to do on defense, too. You know, having a solid enough defense to weather through all of the storm that your opponent's game plan is going to put you through so that you can get back to yours. If you know that you want to play this zony fireball Shoryuken game out here, you don't necessarily want to be right here in bully button range. You don't want to be there. So maybe instead of defending and then like getting your own hit and starting your combo, you'll block 2 moves. Please. Well, you won't tech the throw. Oh, so I'm in the corner. It's not a good place to illustrate this. Alright, I'm out. Nope, never mind. Level 8 CPU's offense is pretty nasty, to be honest with you. And see, look, I threw a Hadouken. That created space. So now I'm back here. Now I can fucking throw Hadoukens again. I don't want you to be in my face. I just want you to be over there. So I end my combo with Hadouken to push the opponent back. If I wanted to bully this guy and put him into crappy Oki situations... Whoop, shit. That didn't hit. I don't play Ryu, so... Damn it. Okay. Fuck you. If I wanted to hit this guy and put him into crappy Oki situations, I would end my combo with Tatsu, because that leaves me right here, and it leaves me plus on block. And I did not mean to do that. But you see how everything I'm doing while I'm playing is tailored to this game plan that I have. I want to be annoying out here, I have to make sure Ken doesn't get close. Backdash. And then I punish, because he's jumping in, because he wants to be close, because he doesn't like it when I'm back here. I want to play this mid-range game, I have to make sure that I'm the one keeping the mid-range. If I want to play this bully game, I have to make sure that I'm the one creating the opportunities. Fuck you. I'm surprised Ken didn't blow me up for that, because I don't think you get any real Oki after dash, EX short, you can. Oh, he's crouching. But anyways, you get the point that I want to be in my face. I have to make sure that everything that I'm doing in a match is, you know, benefiting my game plan. That even if I want to play this like annoying game of, you know, cat and mouse where I'm just like constantly back here. If I'm like waiting, no, don't jump in the Shoryukens, kids. Even if I want to, there we go, do that, I have to know, you know, what's going to be the most effective Oki mix-up so that I can keep the train rolling. If you're like a wait, bait, and punish type guy. Wow, rude. Rude! I'm plus on block after that, fuck you, Ken. Alright, Ken is Latin, apparently. Man, on the hitbox, I don't have the reactions. And that's where frame data comes into handy. You know how long you have before the opponent can act to do something. If I'm +2, that's 2 more frames of time that I have to do something before my opponent. 2 more frames that I have to mix up, to get away, to do whatever my game plan dictates. So it all depends on what kind of game plan you have and how you want to get it accomplished. So now that we've explained what a game plan is and what pieces of the game plan are necessary to make it good, like what you need to think about, what you need to have like in mind so that you can expect what's going to happen at various points in the game. You know, let's ask some questions like, what is unclear? What's unclear about the game plan so far? Anything you want extra explanation on? You can make a request if you want to, sure. Pick a character, decide a game plan, play a match, and talk about it. Against the CPU? You want me to pick it? Alright, sure. I'll play one against the CPU. Why not? So, to help illustrate this, we're going to go and talk about MenaRD immediately after this because that's necessary. I'm going to put it on 8, so I might not win. Just illustration's sake. No, we're not going to fight anybody. This is an explanation stream. It's not an entertainment stream. So I'm gonna pick Guile. Guile is pretty simple. He's like one of the most simple game plans in the game. So my game plan with Guile is I'm gonna annoy Ken with sonic booms and flash kicks and eventually kill him by annoying him enough. I'm gonna make Ken do what I want Ken to do. And then I'm going to punish him appropriately for doing what I want him to do. That's my game plan. This is what this game plan looks like, yes. Oh, how dare. And it works especially well against Ken, because Ken has really stubby range. Fuck you. That faint shit out of here. And you know, every time I see Ken throw a Hadouken from close up like that, I can just sonic boom it for free. Like, it's non-factor. Get out of here. That's okay. I'm back. Even if I got knocked down by that, I'm like all the way back here. Uh-oh. We're still within lose the game range. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, death by frustration. Sure. That's exactly what it is. It's, I'm just going to do this one thing that you have to get around. Forcing this situation. Forcing you to do something about it because it's fucking Sonic Boom. And you have to deal with it. You have to make the right answer. And the computer does not handle this particular strategy very well. Oh, he almost got over it that time. You could do it, Ken. He went for an overhead because I was crouching. The computer is an asshole. Get that out of here. I had the meter to burn on that. No. Oh, the computer's too good. Nope. And there you have it. There's the game plan. Make the computer come to me by throwing multiple sonic booms, and hopefully he'll get hit a few times while he guesses. Anti-air him a few times. React to some shit. Boom. No. There were a few times where, like, I got knocked down or something like that, or I got hit by something, and instead of, like, you know, blocking and dealing with whatever Ken wanted every time that Ken got close to me, I just got the hell out of there because my game plan was to beguile and to be annoying from pretty far away. That's the game plan. And when you have a game plan, you don't really want to deviate from the game plan unless your game plan is getting beaten like really soundly. Then you have to figure out, okay, my game plan's not the best. I'm not prepared for this situation that's blowing up my game plan. What do I do next? But you know, the most solid game plans, they have preparations intact. You expect things like that. And you know, a game plan could be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. Like this is a complete game plan for all intents and purposes with Guile right here. This is a complete game plan. It's keep the enemy away, throw lots of sonic booms, flash kick if they're in the air, and generally be really annoying. You know, vary up my timing on sonic booms to make them do things at different times. You know, fake some sonic booms, do some sonic blades. You know, screw up the opponent's timing so that they mess up enough till they die. Really, really, really simple. You know, I get some Oki. My Oki leads to some free damage if I'm lucky, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. And eventually, whenever they get out, they're all the way across the screen. Like, really, really, really simple game plan. But, you know, even really simple game plans, so long as they're effective, so long as you're ready for everything that could happen with your game plan. Like, if they jump in on me, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to block, or I'm going to, you know, defend appropriately until I can get away again and establish some control. If I knock them down, what Oki am I going to use? I'm just going to run free Oki until, you know, they're far away enough. And then once I can't run pressure anymore, I'm going to sonic boom on block and then make my space and establish control again. So long as everything eventually goes back to what it is that you're trying to get done, then it's a good game plan. Something like Ed. All right. Ed is another fairly reactive, simple character. So... yeah, we'll just stick with Ken. Sure, why not? Like, someone who is more experienced than you, who already has a game plan, someone like Lit, someone like me, someone like Snipe, someone that already has formulated their own game plan for what it is that they're trying to do, is going to be able to easily help you see where your faults are, what you're missing. So for this, because I'm Ed, I generally want to stay at this mid-range where I'm pretty strong, and then convert into really big-ass damage. Bam. He couldn't get out of that. See, I felt pretty uncomfortable there, so I backed out, because I'm not at the range that I want to be at. Blocking. Alright. I fucked that up. It's okay, I haven't played Ed in a while. V-trigger. It's going to force the situation. He jumps. He gets anti-aired. That's what that V-trigger is for. The reason why I have you figure out what your buttons are and what all your moves do is because you have to understand what tools are available to you. Like, Guile's game plan is really simple because he doesn't have as many tools as everyone else does. He has more normals, and so he can do things with more normals, but his game plan is pretty simple. Psycho Cannon is a really, really, really good tool for forcing someone to do something. Like, it's not just going to go away. You get a free mix-up if they just block it. Look at that. The mid-range that I wanted to keep is the only place where I hit buttons at, because I know Ed's buttons are extremely good. I threw some Psycho Sparks out there because I knew that Ken might want to throw some Hadoukens to force me to deal with some stuff, so I punched the fireballs out of existence and threw one of my own. And generally, whenever I got a hit confirm in the mid-range, it led into Oki, which led into pressure, which led into Ken dying. That's my game plan. I'm going to fight at this mid-range where my fists will reach you, convert into some high damage, open you up with some Oki, and you're going to die. And at any other point in time that I'm not opening you up or getting hits in the mid-range, I'm going to force you to have to move back into this mid-range. I'm going to force you to have to, like, fight at the range that I want you to fight at. If you jump at me, I'm going to anti-air you, you know. I have Psycho Cannon waiting if I need to force a situation. I have a Psycho Snatcher. Like, if you're not doing anything, you're just sort of waiting there, waiting for me to do something, I have Psycho Snatcher to yank you inwards and force you to deal with the game plan that I want to go with. Ed is very, 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 very strong at making an opponent do what he wants them to do. Like, he is absolutely 100% ultra good at forcing the opponent to deal with shit. So, there's some example game plans. And it's more complicated than I'm making it sound. Like, I have to be ready for hit confirms. If I throw out medium kick like that, just because I think I can get a medium kick, I have to be able to hit confirm that medium kick and know what I'm going to do from the medium kick onwards. Like, I want to do Psycho Upper, and Psycho Upper is going to give me Oki, and I have to know what my Oki is so that I know what I'm going to do next. But I also have to be prepared for, like, you know, what if they guess correctly? You know, the more steps in advance that you're prepared for, if you know what your opponent can do in response to what it is that you're trying to do, the better your game plan is going to be. There's really no end of stuff that you can be prepared for. In fact, I would even go as far as to say that the reason why Lit so single-handedly beats the hell out of everybody else is because she studies the game immensely, like super, super, super studies, probably knows like all of the situations that like 95% of the cast can put you in, and like all of the things that they can do in response to what Lit wants to do, and all of the things that, you know, could happen, they're there. The knowledge is there, and the more knowledge you have, you know, the more you're going to be prepared for stuff. So when a scramble situation happens, you're going to be like, oh, well, I know you can neutral jump out of this setup, so if you neutral jump, I'm just going to anti-air you. But if the setup hits, the combo knowledge is already there. You know what you're going to do after that. So the more you know, the better your game plan is going to be. So your game plan can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. It can be, you know, super, super, super complex. You can have set play and like plan out your moves 5 steps ahead. Or you can be really simple and choose to like react to stuff. Like here, using the same exact character. Let me just react to shit. We'll see how well it goes. Get away from me. He whiffed a throw, so he got thrown. Anti-air. Hadouken is -10, so I can get whatever button I want there, really. Another anti-air. I'm out. Oop. I don't want to be in the corner, so I Psycho Knuckled. He was too busy doing something after the Hadouken, so I just got out of there. V-reversal. He backdashed there, which was pretty smart, but... Leave me alone, Ken. Oh. Whoa, did he just fucking Shoryuken? Look at that. So, wait around. And look how much closer that was. I didn't have, like, everything absolutely prepared. I could have taken advantage a little more, but I still won. Look at that anti-air. Frustrating. You get your offense where you can get it, and you just get back out. Don't force things. Get your offense where they give it to you. Boom. Now he's giving me offense. I got hit. I'm out. I'm out. Oh. I got impatient there. Ooh. Whew. What are these setups? Nope. Boom. Ah, I fucked it up. There we go. So completely different game plan. I wasn't fighting from the mid-range. I mostly wanted to just sort of wait around and let Ken give me his openings, which he did. Let Ken hang himself, play annoyingly, punch his fireballs out of the way, run away. And then whenever he fucks up, just like retaliate with some massive ass combo. And there you go, like boom. Level 8 Ken. Can you guys beat level 8 CPU? Try it. Try it. See what happens. The computer definitely reads your inputs. Test your game plan. In fact, there's not a whole lot of reason to fight level 8 CPU because it reads your inputs and it's kind of unfair. But the best thing that level 8 CPU is good for is testing how solid your game plan is. How often do you open yourself up for the opponent to take advantage of? You know, like how many times do you leave openings for the opponent to blow through? That because the CPU is absolutely going to blow like right through you. It is absolutely going to read whatever the best option is and just do it, and you're going to get like salty about it. But if you don't leave openings, if you don't open yourself up, then the CPU has nothing to take advantage of, and you just sort of like beat their ass. So that's an example of game plans. I don't think I can get away with doing like rush downy type things against CPU Ken. Uh, who should I rush down with? Command grab. Command grab game plans. If you like to grab people. Play like actual people. Don't play the CPU. The CPU will never allow themselves to get grabbed. Ever. It has to be like a punish grab, otherwise they're not going to get grabbed. Understand your tools better. But yeah, that is the gist of this stream. That's what a game plan is. Understanding all the parts that get you to where you want to go, to how you want to achieve victory in this game. I'm going to rush him down, because I hate Ken. Boom. Oh, he got me. Keep in mind that rushing down the CPU is like pretty hard. Oh, fuck! Get that stun down. Fuck. Oh, he woke up with DP. Whew. Yep, that's how this goes sometimes. Yep, there it is. CPU will also never get mixed up, so don't even try. Alright. I fucked up my stun combo, that's okay. There, he's dead. So that's might be what you want to do if you rush someone down. You might have noticed that I couldn't rush Ken down until Ken gave me an opening to get in on. Either like jump over a fireball or horizontal under a fireball or some shit like that, or you know, punish something Ken was doing. Rushing someone down is not just about running into their face. You have to get an opening. You can't just run into punches all day. So there's that. Those are your game plans. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to take the chat with me into the take a short bathroom break. Tell me what you want to know, what answers you want to have answered, and we're going to take a look at MenaRD, and specifically one match that MenaRD had that was extremely impressive, that illustrates the power of his game plan, because MenaRD basically won Capcom Cup through like pure force of will. Like he just willed his way towards it, and he didn't deviate from his game plan at all, and it was fucking amazing. So we'll watch that in just a sec. So if you have questions, let me know. You know, I'll give you whatever answers you need. Demonstration time is over. Bathroom break. All right, one sec. Okay. So, we're back. And what we're going to do is we're going to move out of Street Fighter V, the game, and we're going to watch a match from Capcom Cup. Display capture. Okay. There we go. So, we're back. If you're here, give me a we're here. Let me know what's up. Who the fuck is this? Okay, maybe give me a second so that this phone call can end. Alright. We're going to watch Kazunoko versus MenaRD. So, if you're still here. Now, Kazunoko versus MenaRD is a pretty good match between two people with pretty similar game plans. Kazunoko's, I would say, is a little more complex and a little more tricky than MenaRD's is. But MenaRD's game plan is very simple, very basic. And you'll see here in just a sec. So MenaRD, his whole game plan right here in the neutral is to use these like wall-like, hard to whiff punish buttons. You know, maybe get some hit confirms, maybe do some damage, but basically just frustrate the hell out of his opponent. And then the second anyone gets close, mix them up to hell and back. And you could see it right there in the first couple seconds. The second that he locks anything from Kazunoko, bop, EX, or not EX, just normal bullhorn, just bam. This is my defensive mix-up. And this is where his game plan really shines and is the most effective. Like, this is where all his focus is that whenever the opponent is close, whether he's on offense or defense, he's going to make his opponent guess. But because his neutral is so wally and annoying and so hard to whiff punish and does, like, you know, is fairly effective, you have to be in close in this matchup to really get anything done. So that's the mountain that that MenaRD proposes that his opponents climb. You see there, he gets hit, he gets knocked down, doesn't care. Wake up Bull Revenger. Beats the button. Rolls the dice, forces the defensive guess whenever he can. Because he knows that his character does a crap ton of damage, and that his neutral is good enough to hang with like these people that he's playing with, the best in the world. And all these buttons, they come at different speeds and they come at different ranges. And he gets some pretty decent damage off of like pretty much all his buttons. Jumps out, command grab. And why does he jump out? He jumped out because he blocked. It blocks for a little bit. Wait. And yes, blocking is a part of the defensive mix-up. And then the second that he thinks he can, boom, he's out of there. The way that MenaRD plays might look random, and it might feel random, but he very specifically does all these different things at different ranges to force his opponent to think about different stuff. Forces his opponent, okay, this is what happens on the fence, and this is what happens in neutral, and I have to worry about Dolphin Dive, and I have to worry about Bull Revenger, I have to worry about Bullhorn. Look at that, Armor Bullhorn. And that's why I say his game plan is really simple, because, you know, that's the entire game plan in a nutshell. Force these guesses and play this really annoying, hard to counter poke, hard to get past neutral game. And the best part of his like really annoying, hard to get past neutral game is that it forces Kazunoko to take these big risks to get anything done. And so even though MenaRD might get hit, even though he might get whiff punished, even though he might lose health, you know, he's still doing at least as much damage, if not more, to Kazunoko. Right. Dolphin dive and he's dead. EX Dolphin dive is a 22 frame move. Absolutely reactable, but it just wasn't on Kazunoko's radar because of all the other things that MenaRD has been putting out there for Kazunoko to deal with. And especially take note of how MenaRD does not ever do anything different. Like, his game plan never deviates, no matter how many times he gets punished. Look at that. I know you're going to jump. Let me do these things that'll make you jump. My anti-air didn't work there, but it doesn't matter, because the life lead is pretty much exactly the same. That's the explosive power of Birdie's damage. He got hit out of some sort of reversal there. That's fine. He's not concerned. Bullhorn VT. Bullhorn is basically what DPs should be in this game. One more of those should do it. Whew! And he's so ready for all of these big risks and guesses, because unlike Kazunoko, who's very, very focused on the neutral game, very focused around getting around these huge, hard to whiff punish buttons that come in all these different ranges, MenaRD really is not focused on that at all. Like, he's not really watching the neutral game. He wants Kazunoko to take these big risks so he could do something about it. So he's waiting for the jumps, he's waiting for the hooligans, the dive kicks. And everything else is just sort of like fishing for hit confirms. That's the strength of his game plan here, and how good he is at it. How ready he is for every situation. He guessed there, didn't guess right. He held up. Right. There we go. So finally loses a round. What a fucking punish. So, like, Stand Fierce is like -7 or -9 or something like that, but it hits you from so far away that you can't do much about it. But Kami Super definitely hits you in that time frame. So, what a sick punish from Kazunoko. Right. Kazunoko doing these dive kicks, trying to get MenaRD to focus on them. The MenaRD just jumps on wake up. Kazunoko's not ready for it. MenaRD blocked wrong there on the spin knuckle. Spin knuckle usually goes around to the other side. It didn't there. So Kazunoko takes that around. And that game, you know, hanging in there. Kazunoko, world-class player. Winner of Capcom Cup 2015. So you watch, like, if you notice, it's like we're 3 games in, right? 3 games in, and MenaRD's still doing the same thing. You know, maybe using a few different buttons, maybe playing with his timing around. But, you know, the adjustments he makes are very minute. They're very small, subtle adjustments. So he guesses wrong a few times there, gets punished on some bullhorns, dies. Dolphin dive, we haven't seen that in like 3 games, so there's no way he was going to expect it there. What a button-heavy dude. Like, look at this. So he gets whiff punish there. Gets a trade combo? Hey, you know, you might say at this point that Kazunoko has been beating his ass, all these whiff punishes, all these other things. With the life lead, like, MenaRD has the life lead. They're scrapping it out, and Birdie somehow still coming on still coming up. Coming out on top. This character does a crap ton of damage. Bullhorn. Specifically a bullhorn in the middle of his block string because he knew the next one would miss. And a panic wake up super from Kazunoko. Gets embodied. Because MenaRD wants him to bet. MenaRD is the one forcing the bets. He's forcing the guesses. Forcing the risks. Because MenaRD is taking risks all the fucking time. At any point in time, MenaRD's game plan could go wrong if he guesses correctly. But he just had such a great weekend that he guessed correctly like the whole time. It was crazy. He had a ridiculously strong weekend. Look at that. Throws out random crouch fierce, doesn't get punished. Does jab, and then another random crouch fierce. Whew. And Kazunoko feels so threatened by all of this. Like, he's scrapping for his life, but he can't come out on top. He's dead. That's it. And you really can't say anything else about MenaRD's play other than the fact that he just guessed right, like, the whole time. Consistently had the right answer. Consistently knew what to look for that Kazunoko wasn't looking for. Consistently knew, you know, where to force the mix-up, where to force the guess, and what he felt the opponent wasn't going to expect. And he destroyed him. He destroyed a former Capcom Cup champion. That's why this guy is the new Capcom Cup champion. What a crazy person. Wild. Wild stuff. Alright, so after the MenaRD match, any comments, any questions, any complaints? Feel free to give them out now. And I'll give you guys a couple seconds. Alright. All's quiet on the Western Front. Oh, here we go. Long still working on it. Just be after. Alright, sure. Hit me up. If you have personal questions about your own personal style, hit me up after the stream. Basic Colleen game plan. Colleen's not a basic character. She's pretty complicated. What I will tell you is that there's no basic game plans. Like, period. There are things that characters are good at. You know, if you're thinking of basic character strengths, Colleen has a lot of defensive options. She has a lot of ways that she can force opponents to guess on the defense, like you saw there with MenaRD. A lot of ways that she can, you know, screw around with the neutral, do some weird stuff like Hailstorm or parries, V-skill. She has a lot of ways to, like, force the opponent to think about all of Colleen's different random options while she's mixing you up, because her frame traps are really weird too. And, you know, her stun damage is really high and plays in with her V-trigger, so she gets stunned really easily. So what is she good at? She's good at forcing the opponent to screw up, forcing the opponent to guess wrong in a variety of situations, and you know, capitalizing off that. That's what she's good at. Is it a basic game plan? No, you have to figure out what you want your game plan to be and how you want to play the game. But that is the character's strengths. She's good at forcing errors. Birdie, I would also say, is really good at forcing errors. Like he's just this big wall of buttons and meat. Just big ass annoying wall of buttons who you have to get through, and sometimes you have to take big risks to get through because your character matchup's not that great. And then he just like punishes you afterwards. So your Birdie's tools are all pretty simple in that regard. Like he has a tool to sort of break through anything that you can think of in the game. He just has to use it correctly. Colleen is very similar in that regard. They're kind of similar characters. The big defensive wall characters with big buttons. I would say that Birdie's buttons are way better than Colleen's though. Colleen is more about movement and parries and weird hit states. Like her hailstorms just taking up massive swaths of the screen at a time. Colleen. Any other questions? Ken's face is kind of disturbing, so I don't know. There we go. I'll look at Ryu instead. Is he holding the hands up and all those? Yeah, he is. He's holding his hands up. This is Bushin Ryu. Alright, no more questions, no more comments. Alright. Well, this has been our stream on Gameplans. Thank you for joining if you joined. Hopefully you learned something. I hope that, what you might be thinking of in terms of what your game plan wants to be, what you want to do in the game, how you want to play it, the path that you're going to take to drain your opponent's life bar to 0. I hope you're thinking about how you want to do that, what steps you're going to take to accomplish it, what ranges are you going to fight at, what tools are you going to use, what's your Oki, what is your goal when playing a match, and how well thought out every step of the way is when you do so. Because there's the first step of having a game plan is thinking it completely through for your own character, and the second step of having a game plan is thinking about everything your opponent can do about it as well. Specifically in the character matchup, every character can do something different about your game plan, and your game plan is going to work. It's going to work a variety of the effectiveness is going to be different based on who you're fighting. That's why matchups exist. That's why Ryu's basic game plan, like his strengths, what he tends towards, the fireballs, the shoryukens, and like the strong defensive like footsies play, is bad against characters like Birdie who have better mid-range play, or Balrog who has better mid-range play, and forces him to fight at ranges he's not super great at. So stuff like that. Yeah, if you're thinking about what a basic game plan is, you're basically just asking, what is my character good at, and how can I do what my character is good at to the best of my ability? So that's what you're asking. Yeah, go ahead and try and write out what your game plan is. Ask yourself questions. Ask yourself how. How am I going to do this thing? What is it going to do? What does it lead to? What is my Oki afterwards? And if there's no Oki afterwards, then ask yourself, what is my situation afterwards? How far is my opponent? How far am I? What are my available options without getting blown up? Or even what your available options are, like just in general, like, can I dash in after this? Will I get destroyed for doing so? Etc. The biggest advice I can have for you for making your own game plan is do not theory craft your way out of options, because theoretically an opponent can do anything about anything you can do. So if you just think about things that are optimal, my opponent can't do anything about this, then you make yourself pretty predictable. You have to fight your opponent in the game. The characters aren't going to do the work for you. So don't theory fight your way out of possibilities. Like if you think you could sneak a dash in somewhere, you probably can. If you think you can sneak an uppercut in somewhere, even though it's incredibly risky, you probably can. Don't limit yourself based on what you are afraid of. And, take this knowledge, apply it to your game, think about what tools your character has, and, have fun. Have fun with the game. If there's any advice that I have for you that you should take from this stream, it's make your game plan whatever it is that you have the most fun with. If you have the most fun throwing sonic booms and flash kicking people out of the sky, do that. If you have the most fun being a gimmicky piece of crap and like putting people in stupid mix-ups that they don't know and laughing about it afterwards, do that. Like, do what you have fun with. And then everything else can come second once you're having a good time. You know, if you feel like rushing people down and not giving them any room to breathe and just sort of beating the shit out of people with your bare hands, have fun doing that first. That's your game plan. Your game plan is whatever you enjoy the most. Everything else comes second. And, you know, as always, I'm Shun. Thank you for watching. Don't know the next time I'll do a stream, but I'll let you guys know. And see you next time.